Yes, I hear you.
Perfect.
I started recording also.
Oh, you did? That's a surprise. You recorded without me even knowing. I had to make sure I looked pretty.
I rather say it before you say something wrong. I like to start without to, like, from beginning, because it's more natural, you know, and we have nothing to hide. So
Of course. Let me just turn the volume up so I can hear you better. All right.
you heard me.
I got you.
You're all in the nature, man.
Yeah. I'm outside on the patio at my house in Orlando, and just it's nice, man. I sit in the office all day, so I like to get outside.
Social distancing, yeah.
That's ridiculous at this point. We need to get some gyms. I'm losing muscles.
So that's an interesting thing I want to ask. Like, you don't have any place to train right now, or do you?
No, I have a little home gym I bought at Sport Authority, maybe $400, and set up in the garage. But it's it's not the same thing. You can't train. I have nothing to train legs with, so I'm doing body weight squats and lunges, and
Who needs legs?
not enough.
Do every day.
I mean, I need more legs.
Every day arm.
Not everybody has legs like you.
No, man. I wish. Like, I'm training my legs. I bust my ass off for my legs, like, literally. Like, when you're tall, it's so hard. Like, that's the.
Oh yeah. Well, how tall are you?
I'm 6'1".
Yeah, you're 6. So I'm a couple inches taller than you, 6'3".
Yeah, you're even taller, man. Not
Yeah,
good.
takes a lot of time. Takes a lot of work.
But a lot of people, like, you have a big influence. How did you not find a place to train?
There were a few places that they wanted to do like training studio type places, but private studios. But they wanted so much money. I'm just like, I can deal with it for a month. If this keeps going into like June, then I'm gonna have to do something different.
Yeah.
But I don't want to go pay 100, 150 a month to go to some, personal training center that's really not still.
Your connection is really bit bad.
Is it?
Yeah.
Let's see.
I don't hear you sometimes.
Huh. Yeah, I'm outside. I'm not on Wi-Fi. I'm on my normal phone connection.
Can you go maybe on your Wi-Fi?
Yeah, let me see if I can do that.
I use now this chance for saying thank you for everybody who's supporting my channel, and I love the feedback from all the podcasts. When you guys want to see more, please subscribe to the channel so I know you guys want to see more. It's also a motivation for me, so don't forget to subscribe. Are you back? I don't hear you again. I don't hear you.
There we go. Wi-Fi was even worse.
Oh yeah. Let's hope it stays. I mean, you need to change to somebody who has a good service, man. By who are you?
It's funny. I have full bars. I have full bars right here. Maybe Zoom is just not being friendly today.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, a lot of people, I'm sure, using Zoom right now. They can't even do things now.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, I understand. But when I'm honest, I would even pay $300 to have a place to train. Like for me, it's training so important. Like for you, I get it. Like you have a lot to do. Bodybuilding is only a hobby, but for me, like I really miss a complete gym.
Oh, of course. I love bodybuilding and I love training and everything like that. But most of my time and money is sunk into business right now because, of course, with the economy going worse, businesses, it's hard to make sure you keep going, you know?
Yeah. So I like to start the podcast like how I met you. I think I never met you in real life, but first time I saw you was on Am's Instagram page. You tagged Am and I saw you, and I saw you know all my friends. So that's how I met you over the over social media, and then we had the FaceTime where I met you, and we talk a lot. So it is like funny. I never met you, but it's like I know you. So that's
I
really
know we communicate all the time through social media and everything like that. So it's like we feel like we know each other, but we never actually met in person, like you said.
yeah, that's really funny. So how's your business going right now? I mean, with all the shit is going on.
It's good. We're still considered essential because we're a clinic. So we do all the, hormone replacement therapy, weight loss stuff, aesthetic medicine, all that kind of thing. And it's good because people that are on it, they usually want to stay on it. The only thing that starts happening is now if people start losing their jobs, this is a luxury. So if you don't have money, you're not going to pay for this. You're going to pay for food before you pay for testosterone treatment, maybe.
So for everybody who don't know you, tell us like I told you, you are like I want to say in a funny way, like from police officer to drug dealer. Explain me how what you did before and what you do right now. Like how did it came that you open up that own place because you were working before with fam. So how did that all came from police officer to where you are now?
So I became a police officer when I was 21 or 22. I was very young. I dropped out of college because I couldn't find anything that I liked. Became a police officer, and then I finished college after I was working as a police officer. I worked up in the state of Ohio for about 7 years, and then I moved down to Florida, worked for Clearwater Police Department. What's that?
Ohio, Columbus.
No, Cleveland. Yeah, so then I came down to Clearwater, worked down in Clearwater for 5 years. And the whole time I was always interested in bodybuilding. And personally, I've always studied hormones and, everything that has to do with bodybuilding. Because as you know, as bodybuilders, hormones are very important. If you don't have enough testosterone, you're not going to build muscles. So I've always researched everything. And when I was kind of done with law enforcement, it just became kind of stale to me. I lost my passion for police work. And when I lost my passion, I wanted to look for something else. And that's actually when I found FAM, the company that I went to after police work. That company, I'll keep it PG and not say too much about it, but there was some bad things that were happening there. And, as an ex-police officer, I didn't want to be involved in anything negative or illegal or anything like that. So I left that company and then started my own company. So I had a partner for a little bit, and that business partner ended up being a little bit not so good for me either. So just recently, and this is like not even a month ago, I cut off, there was a Sarasota office that we were having as well. I cut off that entire office after I saw what I saw. And now the Orlando office is 100% owned, operated, everything by me, and everything is going through here now. So it worked out very well. It's been a lot of learning, man. I've I've learned a lot.
And the Sarasota one is like another name now, or is it still Aspire? Or is that?
They're calling themselves Aspire Vitality still. I rebranded, which I wanted to do anyway. So our company is Aspire Rejuvenation. New logo, new everything, but still same people. Still me, still William Carswell, the practitioner. You know, guy's awesome in hormones. Natalia is the one that usually answers the phones. Medical assistant, and then we have a Pennsylvania doctor. We're opening up a clinic in Pittsburgh by the summer.
That's nice. So, but I mean, you do you not get like?
That's gonna be a really.
Do you not get like people are not? Do they not giving strange comments like? I mean, from a police officer to something completely different. Like, I mean, it is legal, yeah, but in the most countries in the world, it's not legal to sell testosterone.
Yes. Yeah. So, you know, the fact that it is legal, obviously, I wouldn't do anything illegal. I have too many police officer friends, and I have too much integrity for myself and my family to do anything illegal like that. Most countries, yeah, you know, it's still kind of even controversial here in the United States, but I don't think it's really needing to be. You know, the medical advances with hormones and testosterone is amazing. People are curing diabetes and heart disease and a lot of degenerative issues, mental issues. There's ties to testosterone and growth hormone helping people with dementia and Alzheimer's. So, I mean, there's a lot of very good science behind it, a lot of good studies. But of course, you know, United States, you know, where did all the steroid controversy come from? Baseball. You know, when all the baseball players were taking steroids, Congress got pissed off. And that's when they did the Steroid Act back in the day that limited a lot.
I mean, it's crazy like that people think it's completely normal go to a store and buy weed. That's completely normal.
Yeah.
But when people do something for their health, to have a better metabolism, to feel better, I mean, it's anti-aging. It has so much profit for your health. That's weird. But go to a store to buy drugs, to get high, is very normal. Like, that's something I don't understand. Like, how is that even possible, you know?
Well, I mean, the way that I think about it, marijuana became illegal in like the 1920s, I think, or maybe even earlier, maybe like 1915. And it took that long for it to be okay, you know? Testosterone didn't become illegal until the 80s. You know, hormones didn't become a controlled substance until the 80s. And then once that happened, you know, obviously people had to get their, you know, hormone replacement on the street almost, or they had to order it from a different country. So, you know, I think the pendulum swings back. I think it's coming back to where people understand that hormones are really important and that, like you said, it helps your metabolism, anti-aging. I just went to a conference in Salt Lake City. Dr. Rouzier was the one putting on the conference, and he's world-renowned hormone expert. Actually, they called him Doc at Gold's Gym, Venice Beach, back in the 1960s and 70s. He actually trained with Arnold and Franco and Frank Zane, everybody over there. And he was the one actually prescribing them testosterone back in the 70s.
So he knows what they all took, huh?
Of course. Oh, yeah. He told me exactly what they were taking. He's like, it was very simple. He said, everybody, you know, all these bodybuilders today, of course, he's a medical doctor. He's an emergency medical doctor, but he does this on the side as his own hormone clinic. And he told me, he's like, yeah, these bodybuilders today, he said, you know, people aren't dying because of testosterone therapy. They're dying because they're taking 50 different hormones, you know, all these different chemicals and diuretics, and, you know, they're taking growth hormone 10, 15 IU. Anytime you take something like that, you're going to cause problems in your body. It's just way too much.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to my wife a couple of days before, and I told her the most bodybuilders even don't die because of testosterone. They mostly die because of diuretics or too much.
Yeah.
I think more people on diuretics died than something else.
Yeah, yeah. Diuretics killed a lot of bodybuilders in the 90s.
Yeah, because they didn't know like how dangerous it is, I guess.
Yeah, I just think, you know, they saw the effects of it. You know, obviously diuretics work. They dry you out. They make you look leaner, harder, you know, but at what cost? You know, you're gonna kill your liver, you're gonna kill your kidneys, you're gonna drain the water out of your, not only your skin, but if you take too much, your muscles and your organs. You can give yourself heart failure, you know. But that's what bodybuilding is. It's a sport of extremes. So
But do you think that's the major difference from before and now? Like I'm watching right now on YouTube all the old Arnold classics, and the people are looking different. I wouldn't like. I'm sure they are not more shredded. They are more athletic, but they have a look. But I say they took too much diuretic, and they are not anymore look. They don't like. They look different. Do you have to?
yeah.
People now know how dangerous diuretics is. That's why some of the bodybuilders are coming looking a little bit less shredded, and before it was different. Do you think that's a big difference?
I've heard that that's one of the theories. I've heard another theory is they're gaining so much muscle so fast that their bodies can't really, you know, find a good happy medium. So their bodies can't balance out, so they end up holding a lot of water. I mean, the 90s, they had the paper thin skin. They looked amazing, you know, but they looked different. They looked almost sick, like they could die any day.
Yeah, I think also that's why I think they took too much diuretic. Like I know right now a lot of bodybuilder, a lot of coaches, they are even not working anymore with diuretic. Like I heard from John Meadows doesn't work. Like I saw Terence Hill. They didn't take any diuretic at the Arnold Classic, and he was peeled out of his mind. I have
Yep.
coaches are more afraid to use that much amount of diuretics.
Well, it's a dangerous tipping point. If you do too much, you can't come back from it. You know, you can give heart failure right there in the hotel room. So they should be good to fear it, but maybe it's good because, you know, if you brought some of those 90s guys into the bodybuilding shows today, those 90 guys, I think, would kill all the competition. They wouldn't even have a chance, the new guys. But because everybody is kind of a little bit softer, because nobody is as dry, you know, maybe they're going to be healthier, and maybe we're not going to see bodybuilders dying in their 50s and 60s. Maybe they're going to live to 70, 80 or more.
Yeah, but the problem is, it's like when you watch Olympic and you don't see a new world record, you don't want to watch it anymore.
I know.
People want to see always new records. They want to see always bigger, better. Like I'm sure it's not gonna stay like that. Like I'm sure at some point some bodybuilder gonna say, "Look, I want to bring that back, even when it's unhealthy," because everybody's complaining. Like it doesn't end. Like
yeah. Well, I think one person that is really trying to bring it back is Big Ramy.
Oh yeah.
I think Big Ramy, because he's really pushing the limits sometimes. I just don't think he's hit the right combination. But I mean, his size is insane. He's got so much mass. Honestly, he should just diet down even more and just come in super shredded if he can. He might not be able to.
Yeah, I watched the podcast with him and his coach, and Nick Truligi or something. And he told what went wrong, and the most people don't know. He said, what's his name? Big Ramy has genetic. He can utilize nutrition, like, and the problem was they carved him up one day, then they didn't carve him up the next 2 days. But backstage, when he started doing some squats, like with own weight. He said it blew, like all the carbs, everything. He said his shape changed in 5 minutes. And I have
Wow.
yeah, he said, I never saw that in my whole career. And I was excited to see him in Australia. He won't completely different.
Yeah, it's a shame that all these shows got canceled, and I don't know if they're going to come back on. To be honest, I don't think they're going to be able to do any big spectator shows for the rest of the year.
Yeah,
I keep saying the Olympia. People ask me about the Olympia. I don't think the Olympia is going to happen with spectators this year.
Yeah, you asked me on Instagram on the Q&A what I think about the Olympia. And the thing is, I think it's gonna happen, but the problem is, look, none of the companies gonna commit for a booth right now.
No way.
Massive loss, like a massive. Because when you don't have an expo, even let's say you can do an expo, you are not going to fill up this expo because nobody would sign up now for expo after all that shit happened. And the second thing is, I think could fill up I think they can do it some point again, the Olympia, but I don't think people are going to be able to travel to Vegas. Like, we traveled last year to Vegas and bought tickets, but when you had like now 2 months no job and no money, how do you think people going to afford in 2 months to buy tickets and go to Vegas to watch that show?
Exactly. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I think it's more, it's from financial, it's not going to happen because only the people with a lot of money going to watch. But the most fans who go watch the show are not the rich people. We need to be honest. Like, I'm not rich, but I still paid like close to $500 to watch it. I would now not pay even $200 because I couldn't work. So, and I don't think that's like if we are going to be in 2 months in a position that we say, okay, we have financial back. I want to afford that. It's not going to happen.
No, especially if this keeps going as it's going. I don't know when it's going to end, but you know, nobody's really making money right now. The only people working, medical professionals. Thank God my clinic qualified because I thought it might not, because it's considered elective, but I guess because we have active patient base, that's why we can stay open. So thankfully we got to stay open so me and my staff could all keep making money and keep the business afloat. But I mean, only are people working, medical staff, police officers, firemen, you know, construction workers, like the essential people. But I mean, I'm here in Orlando. This is all tourists. Nobody here has jobs now.
Vegas the same. I think that's what I say. I think the show is gonna happen, but they are not gonna fill up that venue because look, Vegas is 90% strip. The strip is closed. People have no money. Do you think in 2 months they're gonna go and buy a ticket for $200 to watch people in trunks?
It's not gonna happen.
No, like people are not gonna have money to go to the Olympia. And the same with the expo. The expo was like $30 or something. Not everybody can afford that. Like, let's be honest. Like, when you had a hard month, you don't think going to an expo and buy supplements and stuff. And then you are again in the same thing. You don't have people who go there, then you don't have any companies who want to go to the expo. So I'm thinking it's gonna happen even with people, but it's gonna be more live stream. I wish they would do a live stream where you pay $10. Like, let's say $10. I would even pay $20 to watch it. I mean, you pay also $20 for a movie. Why?
Well, you do it like you should do it like pay-per-view, like UFC.
Yeah, like.
But the problem is the production's not there. They're when they, you know, their production value, the way they do the videos, the music, it's a mess. You know, it's not as professional as it could be.
Yeah. Yeah, like Arnold Classic Live was terrible. Like you heard
Awful.
you heard them pose, you saw them posing, but you heard the music from the live stream. So you didn't even hear the music from the competitor. Like that was so awkward. But
Yeah, it's just, I mean, bodybuilding shows have always been like that. You know, you've been around bodybuilding shows long enough. I've been around bodybuilding shows long enough. The way the production is, I don't want to say it's half-assed, but it's not as professional as it should be.
yeah,
You know,
but
I mean, Mr. Olympia was on ESPN in the, what was it, the 80s? Was that 80, 86 or something like that? That's where we should be going, not like this.
I watched like the couple weeks, like I said, the old Arnold classics, and like the production is so insane. They feel how the athletes are checking in, and then Arnold is talking about the athletes. All athletes walk in the beginning. Everybody is making a pose. Everybody's going to introduce like stuff like that you don't have anymore. And I think that's for 220. I think the solution is working really more with live stream and make. I think one competition a couple years when I was living in Switzerland, I couldn't watch it, so I went to the internet and I needed to pay like $5 or something, and so I could live stream. They could literally do that. Like let's say 100,000 people watched on live stream. You have still 10 million, $10.
Yeah.
And that's like
Yeah. So I mean, it's a new owner for Olympia, so maybe, you know, maybe he has a different idea, because what, Olympia was just sold in February or March, right?
yeah.
So maybe he has a better idea on how to do it, and I hope he can bring it back and make it more prestigious. You know, I know The Rock is trying to do his show in Georgia, in Atlanta, and The Rock getting into bodybuilding, that's going to be big for the sport.
I already put my I already hooked up for that. I hope that stays.
Yeah, I hope so too. I mean, it's not until October.
Yeah, October 9th, the 11th. Yeah. But I think the new owner is more about the social media and online because he closed up already some of the magazines because who buys magazines? You know, we are not in that time. People don't spend money for buying magazines anymore. I did when I was younger, and like
For sure.
had a new magazine, I tried a new meal plan because every time you saw somebody else's meal plan, like I had literally every month a new meal plan. Like, oh, he's eating this. Let's try this. Like, yeah, but I hope.
Back before the internet was, you know, so big with media, man, magazines were all we had. I had piles of Muscle Mag, Muscular Development. Remember the Muscular Developments? They were like this thick.
Yeah,
Those were good. That makes us sound old. We're telling everybody how old we are right now.
no funny. Like I don't know how it was for you, but my family is Turkish and they don't have that bodybuilding culture. They don't know that, and I'm sure they thought at some point I'm gay because I buy magazines with naked guys in it. Like,
Yeah, I mean, from age 12, 13, I was reading muscle mags and everything like that. My dad hated it. He still hates bodybuilding. He lives in Croatia, but he still hates bodybuilding. And, you know, he thinks it's ugly and this, but, you know, what are you going to do? Not everybody's going to understand it. It's a different type of look and a different lifestyle that people just don't get.
no, they are not. Like, imagine I lived when I was back in Switzerland with parents, and I did cardio every morning my whole career. And he asked me every morning, "Why are you doing cardio?" Every morning. So he was like, he didn't understand anything, and he was like, he thought what I'm doing is stupid. Like, why are you not eating this? Why are you not getting? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, it's weird for some people. Some people just, you know, they don't think about muscles like we do. They don't think about what you can do with the body. I mean, you know, from going from, like, let's say an off season, you're in off season right now, right? Yeah. So, you know, you being in off season to you being in competition, that's a drastic difference.
All
You
right.
know, people don't realize that's, you know, that there's so much work and detail that goes into that, and some people just don't get it. They don't understand why we would suffer for it.
Yeah, but it's sad. Like when I'm honest, even I won in the second year already the nationals, and my family was there. Like everybody in my family was understood and congratulated me. My father was like, "Okay, what's happening here?" Like, imagine like he even didn't really congratulate me. Imagine you're the first in the whole country, but it was still like for him, like why are you in his shorts and why are you at the stage like with tanning? Like he really don't understand.
Well, I mean, even Arnold. I mean, back in the day, Arnold, you know, his dad was looking at him funny too, just like that, saying, "Why are you trying to get your muscles big? Why don't you go and play soccer? Or why don't you go and be a bicyclist?" And, you know, all these different things. I mean, back that was in the '60s. You know, I mean, they had no clue what bodybuilding was. When he walked outside, everybody was like, "What is this?"
Yeah. How did you became to bodybuilding? Like since when did you start bodybuilding? Like you competed too. Like when did you start competing? Which
So I competed when I was younger. I competed when I was 17, 18, and 19. I competed in Ohio at the Natural Ohio bodybuilding shows. So, you know, I was natty back then. And the you know, I mean, I was skinny. I was maybe 170 pounds, 6'3", thin. But I'm always built very skinny. You can tell by my wrists how thin I am. You know, every ounce of muscle I had to take a lot of time to put on, a lot of food. So I competed those 3 years. I stopped competing when I was in college, and I always lifted weights, and I always kind of bodybuild in the gym. But I didn't go back on competition stage until I was maybe 30 or 31. So only 4 or 5 years ago. What's that?
big life crisis. So let's
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, so I started 29, 30, 31 right there. And actually somebody you know as well, when I came back into competing, Ron Gallup, who I think you interviewed a couple days ago.
uh-huh.
Yeah, so Ron is the one who prepped me, and that was before Classic Physique existed, and I did a physique show with the board shorts. It was terrible.
Yeah, but everybody starts small. I mean, I was also 2 years in a row national champion in men's physique. I was 160 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, like now also
That's
170.
that's 100 pounds ago.
But I have genetic. The reason why I stayed so long men's physique is I was literally my foot. Like I had big foot disorder because of men's physique and the social media. Like I thought always I need to stay lean. I need to stay lean. I did
Yeah.
everyday cardio hours. When I ate a pizza, I went home and did cardio. Like
Wow.
the social media made like so much food disorder. Like
Well, you know, everybody always posts off season or when they're a little fluffy, when they're a little fat. So, you know, it makes sense. You know, it kind of gives us all a little bit of, you know, some disorders thinking we should be shredded all the time. But you and I both know, and anybody that's done this long enough knows it's just not practical.
no, and to get better, it's not Like when you want to get better, it doesn't make sense to stay shredded. Like let's
No,
say
yeah, of course not.
you feel heave and you don't need to gain any muscle. You can stay lean the whole year. Who cares? But when you want to be better, you want to get body parts better or grow, it's very important. You need to give your body rest and you need to
Yeah,
give lots of calories.
yeah, for sure. I'm getting eaten by mosquitoes, so I'm going to walk inside with you. I have this nice little tripod so I can stay focused on you.
Let me see here.
All right. Yeah, we need to go inside. The bugs are getting me.
Do you have a dog?
Yeah, there's 3 little chihuahuas back there and my girlfriend. Yeah, so it's funny. It's funny when you asked about the cop to the kind of like the drug dealer. It's funny you say that because I think when I left police work, one of the people that I worked with on my squad, he actually said, he's like, okay, so you went from busting people for drugs to now selling drugs. And I told him very quickly, I'm like, no, it's legal drugs. It's okay.
Yeah, but you know how people think, you know?
Sure.
And the thing is, the people even sometimes have the feeling, some people even don't want to know the truth. Like some people ask me, like, you are natural, right? And you've seen their eyes, they don't want to know it, you know? And I said, yeah, man, I'm natural. I'm lifetime natural. And
Lifetime.
they even don't want to know, you know? Like they don't know what it takes to get that big. Like we can talk all day long about being natural or not, but there is only a certain amount of people in the world who can look big and and be natural, like Rob Perry. Like he is like a one of million. And I asked him like, I want to know how you would look on roids. Like he said, I asked him, do you ever wonder how you would look on roids? He said, no.
Yeah.
I said, of course you need to be wonder.
He would be Mr. Olympia if he went on his steroids.
Like it's insane, like how he's looking.
Genetics, man. But you remember Ronnie Coleman when he first came on the scene. Ronnie Coleman said that he never touched anything until after he became pro.
Yeah.
And if you look at his winning, physique when he became pro,
he was 215.
Me and you, with all the steroids in the world, couldn't look as good as that. You know, he's a freak.
Yeah, but that shows also like he was 215 when he turned pro. Now,
yeah,
I don't believe that he was natural. Why do I believe he was natural? Because from 215, he became 300 pounds.
Yeah.
300 pounds lean. That means being literally 85 pounds.
Yeah.
So that's like ridiculous. Like, how do you gain even 85 pounds when you already are professional, you know? It's not like you start working out, then it's always faster. How do you do professionally 85 pounds?
Well, you know, it's funny. I saw an interview with Ronnie Coleman maybe a couple months ago, and he was talking about testosterone treatment, and he was talking about steroids in the sport. And they were saying, they were asking him if he had any health issues because of using any anabolic steroids. And his answer was really interesting. He said, no, but I'm not doing what they're doing today. He said, I always got my prescriptions from a doctor. He said, and I only took what I was prescribed.
Yeah.
He said, because I wanted to make sure I was healthy.
Yeah, with that guy from London, I think, in that long interview.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's an amazing testament right there, you know, because I see bodybuilders all the time. And, you know, my clinic doesn't work with only bodybuilders. We work with, I have a 79-year-old patient, you know, that's with us now, you know, so we have 80-year-old patients that are on testosterone treatments and it's helping them. But for bodybuilders, you know, because I love the sport and because I love bodybuilding, my main thing is making sure that if somebody's going to do a hormone therapy, that it's done safely. You know, it needs to be done safely. They need to be monitored by medical professionals. They need to make sure that they, you know, understand what's going on with their body. And if something goes wrong, they need to have somebody professional to correct it so they don't end up in the emergency room or dying, because that happens, you know?
Yeah, but we need to also say from here, not that people now text you, email you, you are not giving dosages that a bodybuilder takes. So only people are out. You are not prescribing a gram of test a week. So what you do is only TRT. So that's
So I have a debate for you then. So when you talk about a gram of testosterone, do you know how much testosterone Ronnie Coleman was taking?
I would say around 900 or 1,000. I don't know.
400 or less.
Damn.
The reason behind it is because it was pharmaceutical grade. So, I mean, we all know that, you know, a lot of stuff that bodybuilders take is, you know, who knows where it's made, or maybe it's coming out of China or coming out of somebody's kitchen. So, you know, with those kind of hormones, you really don't know what you're getting, and you really don't know the purity and the quality. But, you know, for us, I mean, I can't tell you any patient specifically because of law, but I'll tell you that at only 200 milligrams of pharmaceutical testosterone a week, for me, I have blood tests to prove it, my testosterone was as high as 3,000.
Damn.
So, you know, people think that more is better. You know, there's a limit, there's a threshold.
Oh yeah.
You know, so I mean, you know, if you take a gram, is your testosterone level going to be 10,000? Maybe. Is that going to help you, or is it going to hurt you more? Probably hurt you more.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, I don't think when I don't tell that myself, but I know when they write 300, it's not going to 300 milligram in it.
Yeah.
But I saw also the opposite. Like we tested one time a Testosterone, and it was overdosed. Like I get always pain from it, and then we tested it, and it instead of 300, it was like 425 or something.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's
But I had pain because, like, imagine you do like 2 cc, and like every time I had like huge bumps, and we didn't know why. Like, but that's like you take like that's close to 30-40% more you want to take. You know, you even don't
sure.
want to take.
Yeah. So, I mean, but I'll tell you, when you do the pharmaceutical stuff, you know, yes, we do TRT. And when we talk about TRT, you're talking about hypogonadism. So, you know, the FDA medical term, hypogonadism, for low testosterone. I will tell you right now that 95% of patients do not have hypogonadism. Almost everything that we do is more symptomatic treatment. So we're treating people's symptoms: low energy, fat gain, muscle loss, brain fog, you know, all those things that low testosterone gives you. We're treating those patients, you know, therapeutically for their symptoms. So they're not coming in under 200, because for you to get a prescription through the FDA, legally through the FDA, through insurance, I have to give you 2 blood tests in 1 week, both of them before 9 a.m., and you have to come in under 200 on your test levels.
I can do that.
You can, but you're manipulating.
When I would go off now, I would guarantee have 0 at some point because my body wouldn't produce it anymore.
Yeah, so you're you know, you can manipulate that, but when it comes to actually, you know, medically, the only people that have that low of testosterone are over the age of 60.
Yeah.
So for us, what we're doing is we're treating these people because they have the symptoms of low testosterone. They don't fit hypogonadism, but we're not trying to treat hypogonadism. We're trying to treat their symptoms and make them basically feel and operate better. Because as men, we just operate better at high testosterone. So we don't have problems giving somebody a super physiologic level over 1,000 as long as it's not harmful to their system. If their body tolerates it, beautiful.
Well,
I keep my testosterone levels above 1,500 always.
so I mean that people out also like did a bit learn today from you. Like it is not only important how high your testosterone level is, it's also important how high your estrogen level is. Like when your estrogen level is too high, you're gonna save more fat, you're gonna have less fat burn. Maybe you are also more emotional, I have no idea. But the opposite is when you cut your estrogen too much. What I see by like when I say take new clients, I see they take like they have no nothing. They take literally everyday Arimidex. And
Yeah, it's
that you tell people like when you have no estrogen, that means you are not gonna build also any muscle. But tell me from the science what is important, like the balance.
so when it comes to testosterone and estrogen, everybody when they look at blood tests, they look at that range. So for men, it's like between 20 and 60 or 20 and 70, they say is the normal range. But that's a normal range for a normal testosterone level. But if your testosterone is 2,000, like mine is, your estrogen level needs to be higher because your body likes balance. And estrogen is not necessarily harmful unless it gets way too high, you know? Just like you said, if it's way too high, yes, you are going to get emotional. Yes, you are going to gain water weight. You're going to have estrogenic side effects. If it's too low and you tank your estrogen like most bodybuilders do, then what happens is your sex drive suffers. You start having joint pains. The body lubrication systems don't work right. So it's a balancing act.
So
But I'll tell you right now, the testosterone level that I have right now, I stopped taking all anti-estrogens because my body finally balanced out. So my estrogen level is right at about 100 to 110. And at that level, because my testosterone is so high, that balance is perfect because estrogen it's good for men, for cardiovascular health. It helps clear your arteries. It has a lot of very good benefits. So bodybuilders, they take all these anti-estrogen tablets. I don't think they really understand the science behind what it's really doing. It's not as necessary as they think. Now, when we're talking bodybuilding and competition prep, different story.
but something I never understood, like at least not completely, is, and I have also other clients, like when your estrogen level is 0, why is your sex drive going down too? Because normally you should think, oh, it's nice, I have no estrogen, so I have more testosterone, so I should have better sex. But in the real life, it's not like that. Like when I feel like I do it also for a long time. I feel always how my balance is. When I have too much estrogen, I feel because some parts getting sensitive. When I cut it too much, I feel that something else not like working. So why is that? Like
It's balance. It's balance like everything else. Just like you want to have a balanced diet, you want to make sure you get enough vitamins, minerals, everything like that. Your body, every single hormone plays off each other. So let's say for IGF-1, for growth hormone, we test IGF-1 at the clinic on every new lab. So everybody that comes into our clinic, they get IGF-1 tested because a lot of times a low IGF-1 can have the same, symptoms as low testosterone. So if you're not testing it, you don't know. But everything likes to be balanced. So if your testosterone is at 2,000, your estrogen needs to be at, let's say, 100 instead of 50, IGF-1, if that's too low, your conversion into free testosterone is going to suffer. So now you may have a good total testosterone, that's great, but only 10% of it's being used because your free testosterone sucks. So, your body likes balance like everything else, It's, what do they call it? Like the yin and yang. you know, everything goes together very well. So that's really what people need to understand. Thyroid, IGF-1, your testosterone, your estrogen, you know, for women, progesterone and estrogen, very important, especially as women get older, even over the age of 30. You know, if we want to live longer and we want to live happier and healthier, we have to really take a look at hormones, because your body, when it has adequate hormones, when you are optimal. So if you are an optimal human at, how old are you?
32.
So at 32, you don't have the levels as 22. At 22, you were a machine. Nothing worried you. You healed fast. You slept well. You know what I mean? Everything worked very well. So if you can keep those levels throughout life, you're going to increase, you know, your quality of life into your 60s, 70s, 80s. But the key is to make sure that it's monitored by a doctor, so you can make sure that you're not causing any harm to your body.
Yeah, I mean, my first coach fucked up my thyroid. So I'm taking since 2014 thyroid every day. So
Yeah.
my thyroid doesn't work anymore, and I know it's a fucking pain in the ass. That's why people who watching this, like, go really to somebody who knows what he's doing, because you can harm yourself extremely. What I want to know is also, like, you guys also have IGF and human growth hormone. With what kind of clients are you giving that? Like older people, younger people? Like, what symptoms do you need to get human growth?
So human growth hormone, actual somatropin, I tell everybody the same thing.
I don't hear you. Oh, yeah.
Hold on. Can you see me now? So I tell everybody the same thing. Human growth hormone, it's not hard to get prescribed, but it's extremely expensive.
Yeah, it is.
So, you know, everybody says, oh, I can get 100 IU of growth hormone for $300. I'm like, no, you fucking can't.
You know, water, like bacteria starting water, nothing else.
Yeah, you may be getting that, China grade, whatever junk. It's probably a peptide. You know, you might be getting that, but real somatropin, it's only made by like 12 companies. You know, so the one that we use is Omnitrope, which anybody that knows growth hormone knows Omnitrope is a very good popular brand. The only problem with Omnitrope is it's so expensive that very few people can afford it. So it ends up being almost $1,200 a month for 1 IU a day.
That's insane.
It's crazy. And that's me, you know, obviously I mark it up, but I'll tell you, I won't even buy it for my clinic price. It's just too expensive, you know? For prescriptions, it's pretty easy. There's only 2 reasons you can prescribe growth hormone. One is for the younger kids that aren't growing, so infantile growth hormone syndrome, or adult onset growth hormone deficiency. So that adult onset, basically, it's really weird how it's written. It's a gray area, because I can look at everybody in the room, and basically, if I see somebody over the age of 30, you have low growth hormone. You qualify, because it's natural. Your growth hormone declines as you age. That's normal.
But the insurance doesn't pay for the human growth, right?
No. So growth hormone will only be paid for by insurance for those infant growth hormone deficiencies, for like kids that aren't growing. But even then, insurance is only paying so much. We all know insurance companies suck, you know, and it's still costing tens of thousands of dollars for treatment.
That would be insane. Like, I think that's the dream, like getting human growth prescribed and paid from the insurance.
It'll never happen. The same thing with like testosterone for how we prescribe it. You know, I mean, can you tank your testosterone levels and put yourself under 200 for a week? Yes. But as soon as we test your levels again, and you are popping at 900 to 1,000, insurance is going to cut you off. So the whole goal is to basically just keep the prices low enough so everybody can afford it. You know, and I mean, our price is $128 a month for a full testosterone program, including HCG, syringes, shipping. It's not bad.
That's cheaper than supplements. Like when you go to GNC, you pay more for protein and for amino acids, like for BCAAs. Like I see people buy stuff that I think like, why are you doing? Go take this money, go get the hormone replacement, and you're gonna have more of it.
Of course, yeah. As soon as you boost your testosterone level where it should be, you're going to absorb all the protein-rich normal food you eat. You don't need to take all the amino acid drinks, which you only absorb 5% of it anyway.
Yeah, I mean in Europe even they don't anymore produce BCAAs. When I came to America, I was a little bit shocked that BCAAs are still very in. It started now that people go back to EAAs. Like, I don't know, America, I thought always is so way farther than we are in Europe, but we in Europe use glutamine only for gut health. People think here glutamine gonna make them muscle. Like, I don't know, something went wrong. Like, I don't know. I think it's the industry who doesn't allow the information, you know?
Oh, it's really bad. The misinformation from the bodybuilding industry is crazy. And I mean, you know, not just with supplements, but also with anabolic steroids. You know, I mean, I get in arguments with some people that are bodybuilders and they're like, no, this is how it works. And I'm like, okay, hold on a second. And I send them studies and I said, no, this is actually how it works.
Yeah. Like you said, even with supplements, I have like couple weeks before a client and he has in his cycle tren in off season, and I was like surprised. I said, why do you take tren? And he said, I want to make a lean bulk. And I said, what has the roid that you take to do with a lean bulk? A lean bulk is when you don't eat a lot of shake food and do a moderate amount of food, like not too much from what you burn. That's
exactly.
Why are you taking tren in your off season? But that's like people heard that like, oh, tren makes me shredded, and he's like, people, oh, tren makes me veiny. Like I see my veins. I said, what the hell is wrong with you? Like,
people want to believe all these things they read on forums, and you know, I mean, bodybuilding forums and bodybuilding groups on Facebook and things like that. They are the worst source of information that you can find. It's a bunch of amateurs giving everybody else amateur advice. Nobody has the right idea. Everybody's just experimenting, usually with shit drugs and shit protocols, and nobody knows they're doing it. That's what I want to clear up. That's what I want to really try to teach people, that, you know, there's a very right way of doing this and a very wrong way of doing this.
Yeah, and I think in life, you need to know when you risk it, you need to think if it's worth it. When you risk it to get Mr. Olympia, I will do it.
Me too. Same thing.
But when I'm doing it for a show, a regional show where I get an $8 trophy, then think about, is that really worth it? For those $8 trophies, those 2 pictures, and that's it. So people should think about what kind of risk do you take for what? That's like in life. You are not going to a casino and give $1,000 only to make $5 of it.
Yeah, exactly. You know, the best way that I can personally put it, because I'm not competing bodybuilding anymore. I always say that I want to, just because I love bodybuilding, but I probably will never compete in bodybuilding again.
Don't say
and that. The reason why is the same thing you just said, because of the $5 trophy thing. What am I getting for all the hard work that I'm doing? Really not much. So when I look at it, I have done and I do modeling and some acting stuff on the side. And every time my agent saw me when I was prepping or when I was growing, he's like, stop. He's like, you need to lose 15 pounds now. He's like, you need to stop. He said, it's too freaky for, you know, making money. He's like, if you want to get in, he's like, if you want to get on advertisements and you want to do stuff like that, you know, you need to be more streamlined, more realistic looking. And I'm not that big, you know, I'm only 225 pounds right now. But I mean, I've had modeling opportunities where they said they saw me in pictures and they're like, okay, you look good. Then they see me in person and they're like, you're too big. You need to lose 20 pounds. And I'm already shredded. I'm like, 20 pounds where?
Crazy. Well, you look bigger than 225.
That's it. I am never over 235 pounds. The only heaviest you'll see me is 235 pounds.
I need to send you my off-season protocol, man.
I would probably be very big.
Yeah, I'm a big eater. That's my problem. I love food. That's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, I love food. I don't think I can eat or love as much food as you do.
So I want to, like, before I go to another topic like that, for people who are watching, like maybe young people, or like when you're natural, what supplements are essential in your opinion?
So I guess it depends on what natural really means to you.
Natural means he don't take any steroids.
Any steroids. Okay. So there's a few different things, and I'm going to talk from a clinical standpoint because I don't like drinking BCAAs. I don't like drinking even EAAs because you absorb so little of it. You know, nothing against the companies that sell it, but you know, when it comes down to it, there's a better way to take amino acids, and it's through an injection. And I have a bottle here of injectable aminos that we sell.
Yeah, I heard from that often. Even my coach Derek told me like that product is really good.
It is crazy. I mean, you're getting it straight into your muscle, and when you get it straight, you know, when you're doing an intermuscular injection of amino acids, the pump you get alone is absolutely incredible because you're absorbing 100%.
How can the amino acid give you a pump?
So the amino acid citrulline.
Ah, now we get it.
Yeah.
So it's like the regular ones that you need for building muscle.
So, you know, the regular ones for building muscle, I always liked using kind of an old school method. I like the old school. I'm always about food. You know, you can get your essential amino acids as long as you're eating meat. Yeah. Every essential amino acid you get is from meat. Now, if you're vegan and you're not eating any meat, you're going to be lacking an essential amino acids. And, you know, some vegan can get on here and argue that, but you know, that's just the science of it.
You shouldn't do also bodybuilding, in my opinion.
Sure. Yeah. Well, there is one vegan guy, Nemai Delgado. And he says he was a lifetime vegan. That's actually false. He was vegetarian, so he was still eating eggs.
I mean, I need to be honest, the most people out there even don't know. I don't even know if my wife knows that, but 2016, I prepped for the nationals in classic bodybuilding, and I was 1.5 years vegetarian, and nobody knew it. And nobody knew it because I did it for myself. Like, I'm not a big meat eater. Like, the most bodybuilders are like, oh, I want a steak and stuff. I would never crave for a steak. I would crave for carbs or sugar. And then I decided, okay, look, I'm eating only eggs. That's all, eggs and milk products. And I won the nationals in classic bodybuilding. I can send you after that conversation. And that was one of my best looks. I didn't saw any different, but I ate eggs. And I think eggs have the best amino acid profile.
They do. Yeah. So
sacrifice, but when you don't eat any eggs or milk products, you shouldn't do any bodybuilding. Then go be a vegan, but don't talk about body. People are gonna hate me now, but that's my opinion. Like, you need to do some sacrifice for the sport, you know.
I'm the exact same way. I mean, vegan is not a complete diet, and anybody can yell at me. I'm sure that if somebody sees this video that's a vegan, they're probably going to yell at both of us. But you know, it's science, it's biology. The essential amino acids that you really need to build a significant amount of muscle and to really fuel your body, you need to have some animal products in there. You know, we are not built to be. We're not cows. We're not vegetarian animals. We're supposed to be omnivorous. Do we eat too much meat in America? Maybe. Yeah. You know, should we eat more vegetables? Absolutely. But you still need some meat products, and like you said, eggs. In my opinion, eggs are the best protein source. When I was really struggling financially, when I was really broke, I would eat eggs 5 times a day because they were cheap.
When I was younger, I was eating like tuna for every meal, like literally.
Yeah.
That's so cheap. Like people out there will, like sometimes people say, but the food, clean food is so expensive. Go buy a 20 pound of rice, go buy canned tuna, and tell me it is expensive. It is not expensive. It is really cheap. And yeah, I'm the same opinion. That's why I asked you if there is supplements that you think it's important. What's up? This pump, this supplement that you said, is that only for pump, or what does that do?
No, so it helps you with recovery too. I'll actually grab it because I have it right here. So I'm going to walk over to my cabinet and grab it out for you so I can read it for you. And you don't even want to see my drug cabinet. It's amazing.
I mean, yours, of course.
So this is an amino blend. Now in here you have glutamine, ornithine, arginine, lysine, citrulline, and L-carnitine.
So it's also
yeah, L-carnitine, very good for fat burning and thermogenic metabolism. Glutamine, you know, like you said, everybody's taking glutamine in the United States for muscle building, everything like that. Glutamine does not work like that. Yeah. Glutamine is very essential. It's very good for helping repair, but it does not build muscle. So what this is for, it's for recovery. It's for muscle pump. As you know, getting that blood in the muscle is super important to get the nutrients in, to tear it down, to build it back up. So this is what this is for.
Are you doing that in your muscle that you train, or it doesn't matter?
I wouldn't do it in the muscle that you train because it's water-based. So it can give you a little bit of a little bit of a knot, especially if you train it, because if you're putting a full milliliter into your muscle and then training it, it's going to hurt a little bit. So if I do lower body, I'll do it in the shoulder. If I do upper body, I'll do it in the glute.
So I guess you do it always in your glute. But that's something I wanted to know also. I know for a fact that carnitine, you need to have a really big amount that you have a good effect. And I cannot, I hate when those products, they sell you 500 milligrams. All that helps. That's not going to help any fat burn, especially in a tablet. Like, how much do you really need? Be honest. Like, how much carnitine helps literally for fat burn?
So if you're doing carnitine just for fat burn, not this. So the carnitine in this is small.
No, I mean,
you're still absorbing, much more than an oral carnitine.
Yeah.
This has 100 milligrams per milliliter of carnitine,
but
which is still.
That's also not pure for fat burn, but like, in your opinion, when you want to have the fat burn effect, how much do you need to take?
Between 200 and 500 milligrams a day. And that's injectable.
And when you would say, like, the most people don't have injectable, I guess, like in tablets.
I don't know how much your body actually absorbs. I don't know how well absorbed carnitine is orally. So, I mean, who knows for you? Cause let's say 300 to 500 milligrams injectable, you're absorbing all of that.
Yeah.
So for you to get 300 to 500 milligrams orally absorbed, I mean, you probably would have to take over 1,000 or 2,000.
The whole package.
It's too much, and it's going to give you a stomach ache. It's going to give you a lot more discomfort than benefit.
I heard also you guys have something for fat burn, a product. Can you talk about that a bit? Like I have always, like, I have the most struggle on my stomach because I was a fat kid till 19. I was really fat. I have all my fat cells are here. I can lose my six-pack literally in 2 days after prayer. That's always the last thing who comes. Do you know any product that can help, like, even people out there, like, I heard you can inject something in your stomach that helps you.
Anything site enhancement really doesn't work as well as people like to think. So, there are certain products that you can inject in your fat and it's supposed to help, melt the fat away. It doesn't really work like that. The only way you can really get rid of that fat cell is through things like liposuction and stuff like that. Minimizing white adipose tissue, which is your body fat. That's the body fat over your skin or in your skin. There's a product called 5-amino 1MQ. It's a peptide that was made maybe 8-10 years ago. It was studied pretty widely, and they made it for obesity. So they made it for obese people, and the study showed that it had no stimulant effect, no negative effects whatsoever on the heart, body, anything like that. And it basically it tricked your body by increasing an enzyme. So your body increases an enzyme when you have to lose fat, because your body obviously loses fat for a reason. So this 5-amino 1MQ tricks your body into raising that enzyme and basically eating the fat away, and you urinate it out. Yeah. So it uses lymphatic channels. It's really weird. It's really cool scientific stuff. But I took it for a month just to try it before we even sold it. And I dieted for 4 weeks while I was doing it. By the end of the 4th week, it looked like I was dieting for 8 weeks. That's how fast it worked.
You guys sell that too?
Yeah, it's a little expensive because it has to be done per body weight. So like somebody like me or you over 200 pounds, you need to take 2 to 3 capsules a day, which is it ends up being almost like $8 to $12 a day. It's expensive, but it's for people that really want to lose that fat, it's worth it. A lot of women, they are doing 1 capsule a day, and it works perfect.
And like, there's a lot of maybe girls or competitors watching bikinis. They are abusing often clean. Like, can you explain how dangerous clean is? Like, I heard it's really hard and.
Yeah, besides the obvious fact that clenbuterol is illegal in this country, so half the shit that people are getting, everybody gets the oral dropper clen.
I never took those. I never knew how much I take. I hate that.
It's so inaccurate and it's so dangerous because, God forbid, if that chemical crashes and you take that little dropper and you accidentally take 300 micrograms, you're going to get a heart attack. So I'm just looking at people. I'm like, what are you guys doing? There's so many other options you can take. Clenbuterol originally was for asthma, in Europe. That's what they used instead of albuterol inhalers. And they made it illegal in the United States when they found out that people were using it for fat burning because it raises the heart rate, raises metabolism, raises your metabolic rate. But it's doing a number on your heart, and it's doing a number on the way that your body kind of processes energy. You can give yourself adrenal fatigue in a matter of weeks.
With With T3 is the same. Like I said, my coach fucked up my T3. Like, what should people be careful when they take T3 for competition or generally?
So we do thyroid optimization. So we actually can raise people's thyroid levels, and it's going to be through a mixture of T3 and T4. So T4 converts into T3. If you take straight T3, the half-life in your body is maybe 4 to 6 hours, you know, and then it goes back down. So like you're taking Armour Thyroid, for instance, that's giving you a certain amount of T4 and a certain amount of T3, depending on what grain Armour Thyroid you're getting. We do that not only for weight management, but having low thyroid function or having suboptimal thyroid function can actually cause a lot of issues for men and women, you know, not only energy-wise, not only fat-burning-wise, but hair loss for women. A lot of it's thyroid-related. You know, a lot of different skin issues, like people looking very old. A lot of it's thyroid issues. You can see like the sagging under the eyes. You see the lips getting very narrow and thin.
I feel also tired. Like when I like I feel when I'm honest, I can talk here honest. Like I don't get the T4. It's hard to find for me. But when I have T4 and I take it with the T3, I feel way better. I'm
Of
less
course.
tired, and what is the problem is to get it. Like because the most people are concentrated on T3, T3. I need T3 to burn fat. That's why you don't even get T4 from, you know, it's really hard to find.
Well, so and that's the problem. People are so focused on what T3 does, they don't realize that if you take a crazy amount of T3, okay, your T4 levels are going to crash. Your TSH levels, your thyroid stimulating hormone, it's going to be off the chart because you're not going to have to use it. You know, your body's saying, you're tricking your body and saying, I don't need T3 because I have plenty of it. So you're shutting down your natural production. That's where people get in trouble. Now, when you're adding T3 and T4, your body is having a balance. Again, just like we talked about testosterone and estrogen. You cannot raise T3 and keep T4 down here because you're going to give your body chaos, and your body doesn't like that.
So would you tell, like when people watch it now, rather to control first, make a blood work to see where it's at and go from there?
Yeah, so all of our blood work at the clinic, for example, we test T3 and T4. We test T3, T4, and TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. Reason we do that is because you can't just base anything on TSH. It doesn't tell you anything. TSH can vary drastically between me and you, but we can have the same T3 and T4 levels because our bodies are just different.
Now, I mean, there's people, obviously, they can't afford to do all the time blood work. Can you give advice to people, like in which area they should stay on, or what signs they should look like when they want to, like you can't stop them to use that stuff, but maybe we can help them at least not to abuse it, you know? Like when you say somebody does a competition, what's the point? You say, I wouldn't take more than this cleanse, or I wouldn't do this and this. Like, what is your advice? Because there's people they can't afford go to a clinic and stuff, you know, but I think it maybe would help them, you know, don't go crazy.
Yeah, so it's all about how you really feel. You know, people are so focused on how they look, even through prep. You know, when you get very dieted down, you're going to feel pretty bad. But if you're in prep and you're feeling really bad throughout prep, your body's trying to tell you something. So, you know, if you're 4 to 6 weeks out, you should not be competition lean at 4 to 6 weeks out. You should be getting there, but you shouldn't be there yet. So if you're suffering to a point where you're very uncomfortable and your body hurts, your head hurts, you're not sleeping, you know, you're starting to look at yourself in the face and you look tired and kind of sick, your body's giving you signs that you're doing something too much. That it's really, you know, when it comes down to bodybuilding, It's hard to say you can balance it correctly, especially when you get very close to a show. But, you know, very close to a show is the last 3-4 weeks. You know, if you're 8 weeks out, 6 weeks out, you shouldn't be feeling like shit. You should be enjoying. You know, are you going to be hungry a little bit? Yeah, of course. Are you going to be tired a little bit because you're working out a lot? Of course. But if you feel like you're sick, if you feel like something's wrong, that's when you really need to start looking at, you know, hey, I need to look at one of these clinics, or even go online. There's plenty of places you can get blood work. You know, it's the only problem is if you don't go to the right places, you end up spending $300 to $500 for blood work, which, like you said, people can't afford that all the time. Blood work through us, $150. Follow-up blood work, $75. And the follow-up blood work, we check your testosterone, estrogen, usually IGF, and that's all you really need. You need to make sure that your hormones are on check. You know, and the other full blood test, it checks everything else, your blood lipids, your cholesterol, checks your liver and kidney health, all your red and white blood cells, and obviously all your hormones.
That's, I think, a good help, like especially for people. Like I see, what's the most craziest things you see by patients that came? Like you say, they did that so wrong, or what's the most? What do people wrong in their supplementation?
We've had bodybuilders that come in that have like completely messed up their adrenals, you know, complete adrenal fatigue. And for that to be fixed, it's a nightmare. You have to make sure that, you know, you're following extremely strict diet, hormone replacement, everything like that for months, because it takes your body a long time to kind of reacclimate to what's going on. The worst thing that I've seen, and I mean, people's testosterone completely crashed. You know, they go on a cycle for a bodybuilding show, they come back. Oh, I don't know what's wrong. I feel like shit. I don't want to have sex with my girlfriend. I'm suicidal. That's a big one when low testosterone comes in. Suicide and depression, things like that. You know, all very easily correctable once you get your hormones back where they need to be. But, you know, the stuff that people do to their bodies, taking all these crazy chemicals and drugs for so long, that's what happens when you don't do it monitored correctly. You know, if you don't know what you're doing, you should not be taking anabolic steroids. You should be doing it through somebody that knows what they're doing.
What's the craziest thing you took or ever did in your career?
Me? I've taken clenbuterol for a competition. I didn't, it's weird. I was one of the only people, I know it's rare, but I was one of the only people that didn't have any effect. It didn't do anything for me. And I was taking pharmaceutical clenbuterol, you know, in the blister packs, and it did absolutely nothing for me. No energy spike, no heart palpitate, nothing.
But what's the craziest you did, like for a competition or in your career? Be honest.
Craziest? So the clenbuterol, Tren was one. I hated it.
That makes me like suicidal. Like I'm literally sitting on the couch and I think like my life sucks so bad.
Yeah,
They don't have that, but every time I don't take Tren like since 3 years, I'm still getting shredded. But because Tren has a really bad side effect on me, like I'm getting depressed, but really deep depressed. Like I don't wanna exist anymore.
Yeah, that's a scary thing.
How is that steroids are have different side effects for everybody else? That's also.
It's just the way that your body is processing it. You know, your body's processing it different. You know, everybody's different when you're processing like that. I'm gonna flip the camera around. Okay. Yeah, so everybody processes it different.
Yeah, because you heard that so often. Like when you guys talk at the gym, oh, when I take this, then I have that. Or when I take this, I have this.
Yeah, exactly. All right, I'm trying to set you up. Hold on, I had to plug my phone in. Okay. Can you still see me? All right. So yeah, you know, with me, Trend just made me really angry. It made me very angry. It made me very on edge all the time. You know, so it wasn't a good feeling for me. And you know, that cycle that I did for that bodybuilding show, I wanted to really go for it. And I wanted to, you know, I'm like, forget it. I'm going to take whatever it takes. I'm going to do whatever it takes. And I'm going to get crazy big and shredded. And you know what's funny? The more I took, the worse I looked. It was so weird. So that's why I come back to, like, you know, we were talking about taking a gram of testosterone. You know, yeah, do some people take it and do some people, you know, react okay on it? Yeah, sure they do. Is it needed? I don't think so. I think that when people take the right stuff, and let's be real, the real stuff, because there's a lot of people taking fake drugs out there. Mm-hmm. When people do that, that's when they can really see their body really do well. The best I ever felt, I was taking pharmaceutical grade testosterone, TRT. I was taking testosterone, only 300 milligrams a week. I was taking prescribed oxandrolone, Anavar. I was taking 75 milligrams a day. And I was taking growth hormone.
That's high for Anavar.
Yeah, 75. It's about, for my body weight, it was a good dose. 50 milligrams was okay. 75 was good as long as you take a liver support supplement.
You get the crazy pump from pharma.
It's crazy. We actually prescribe a lot of Anavar for a lot of people. So it's one of the most popular treatments we do. And we can use it for different things like weight loss and, you know, regeneration. There's a new study just came out, I think, last year. And the study was using Anavar for people with muscle injuries. So muscle tears, joint injuries, very bad surgeries, and it was working amazing. So it even broadened our scope to where we can prescribe it.
Also, it's very good for girls. Like maybe some girls are watching that and they want to try to compete, or they want to try a cycle. What would you give advice for women? Like, what would you say don't do it, and what do you say that's, you don't need to say milligrams or stuff, but what is what is good for you and what not? Like, I would say you wouldn't take tests when you want to look feminine, I'm guessing.
No, testosterone replacement for women does exist, but usually it's at such a low dose, because women do need testosterone too, of course. You know, and when women have very low testosterone, their energy also gets low and their sex drive gets low. So we do testosterone replacement for women, and they will gain a little bit of muscle from it. But yeah, for, you know, they're not going to take it like a man. They're not going to take it like me and you would.
Yeah.
For Anavar, you know, and it's okay. I can say basically what women should be really taking. Really, for most women, definitely under 20 milligrams a day, and probably closer to 5 or 10 a day. And women don't metabolize Anavar like men do. If me and you take 50 milligram Anavar capsule or troche, we're going to basically go through that half-life in 11 to 15 hours. Women, they can take it once a day and it'll last all day. Me and you have to take it twice a day to keep our levels steady.
I even take it 3 times a day when I take 75.
Yeah. You can take 25. You can take 25 every 8 hours, basically.
And what about like Primo? I heard some girls taking Primobolan. Is that good too for girls?
You know, I wish Primobolan was legal so we could prescribe it. I think it's the best anabolic drug on the planet. That has almost zero side effects. It has incredible results. And why it's banned, I have absolutely no idea. It makes no sense, but there is no medical use for it here in the United States, apparently.
I think that
It's one of my favorite compounds. I think it's probably the best compound. If I could choose one anabolic to have, it'd be primobolan.
That's good.
Yeah, but most of the people that are getting primobolan in this country are not getting primobolan. Most of the time it's disguised and it says primobolan, it's actually masteron. That's very commonly faked because the primobolan raw chemical is outrageously expensive.
Yeah, I take mostly primobolan instead of tren.
Oh, of course.
I can't change tren. I can't take tren. That drives me nuts. I think my wife would divorce me.
It's way too harsh on the body. It's not needed.
I'm really bad on it. Now let's go back to right now the situation. Maybe a lot of people think now. Let's say you're in a prep or in off season. Now you can't train. What should they do with their cycle? Go off, go TRT, or stay? What's your advice?
Well, we have several patients that are doing TRT and Anavar and things like that, and they're doing the best they can at home. But honestly, for anybody that's doing a true cycle for bodybuilding, they should have already shut it down a month or two ago. Most bodybuilding shows this year are not going to be happening. I don't think.
Down completely or TRT? Because in my opinion, when you shut it complete down, your immune system is going to be bad.
No, I don't mean shut it down completely like no TRT. I mean shut down a bodybuilding cycle.
Okay.
Yeah, but TRT, I mean, for most men over the age of 30 in the United States, we're all low. I'm first generation American. You weren't even born here. Your testosterone is probably better than 99% naturally. It would have been better than 99% of the people in this country because our food and water quality here is just garbage. And that's proven. When I was in Dubai last year for a conference with A4M, the doctor that was putting on the conference was from Brussels. And he told me we were all talking, and I was the only American in the class. Everybody else was from the Middle East and Europe and Asia. And he was talking to us about it, and he said, United States has the absolute worst hormone levels in the whole world. He said, the men in this country are not men anymore. That's literally what he said.
But we need to be honest, there is also a lot more people on TRT in America than in other places. Like, I meet a lot of guys, they're taking roids, and they even don't lift and they take roids.
Yeah, but for TRT purposes, it's more about how they feel, TRT doesn't necessarily have to do with building muscle and everything like that. It's more about their symptoms. Most of the patients that we have that are over age 50, they don't care about having big biceps. But what they do care about is their mind being clear, their body functioning well and healthy. And honestly, they want to have sex with their wife. And if your testosterone's low, you're not going to be doing it.
Are you guys coaching also athletes for a competition like Aspire, or do you guys work with like coaching like meal plan and stuff like that? Or
we can do meal plans, but bodybuilding prep, we're not doing those. We do meal plans just for people that are basically trying to get just a better diet. And we do help several athletes. Currently, we have several professional bodybuilders that are patients. We have several professional and ex-professional NFL players, couple golfers, couple tennis players, and a couple WWE athletes. And I wish I could tell you some of them because they're so cool, but I'm not allowed to tell you.
What about Bjorn Ansley? Is he now on board?
Yeah, he's with us. He's right now he's just doing his prep out in California. Brian is doing glutathione. He has some injectable aminos, just very basic stuff with us right now because he's basically, just off season and being healthy. And he's a little older. He's, I think, 38 and 39 maybe.
He looks like 28.
I know. He's almost 40, And, you know, he looks amazing, but he's been doing it very healthy. And me and him had a long conversation about, you know, hormone use and everything like that. And, you know, he was straight up about it. And he said, you know, all these guys are taking so much stuff. He's like, they don't need it. He's like, you don't need that much. He's like, you just need to be just above, you know, that optimal level. He's like, you don't need to be at 10,000 testosterone.
Genetic, like, I hate to bring that down, but I hate also to talk to people who are genetically gifted and they try to teach me. Like, I tell you something, I worked out with Derek Lunsford a long time, and he can be on nothing, but still he is building more muscle than you do.
Of course.
Like, genetically so gifted, like he looks at a dumbbell and he grows.
Well, that's, I tell people that all the time. You know, they always think like these bodybuilders, steroids. No, steroids help them get to the size they are, you know, because they are so big, so muscular, so ripped. But, you know, you give any normal person on the street those steroids, they're not going to look like that.
Look, I'm no filter. You know me. I am no filter. I take more than he takes, but I'm not looking like him. Like, and that's something people should, like, when you look on Instagram on other people, it's not the roids, it's the genetic. You can't out-angle the genetic. Like, you can't take the double to make the genetic better. It's not how it works. You need to accept it, work hard, and accept that you don't have the genetics.
Yeah, well, that's where people get in trouble. People think that, you know, they take more drugs, they eat more food, they start adding crazy things like doing a crazy amount of insulin or a crazy amount of growth hormones or whatever Chinese growth hormones they're taking. You know, they think that they can add all that stuff and they're automatically going to become looking like Ronnie Coleman. It's not going to happen.
I mean, you know Craig Dolios?
Yeah.
Guy. I trained with him. I know him from Vegas. And you don't believe me now, but he never took in his life human growth or insulin. He's 350 pounds. I spend sometimes days with him. He eats like 3-4 meals a day, small meals. He eats not more than you do. But he's genetically so gifted, he grows. Like, he literally took my warm-up weight for his set.
Yeah. I mean, people just have it. Some people have it and some people don't. You know, it's just you're gonna have to accept it, like you said. They're gonna have to accept what reality is and really kind of assess what they're gonna do with their life, because, you know, I'm 6'3". I'm not short, but I'm not gonna be an NBA player. I can play all the basketball I want. I can shoot all the free throws I want. I'm not going to play in the NBA. You know, a guy that's 5'5" is not going to be an NBA center. It's just not going to happen. So you have to realize the genetic limitations and work around what you have and not hurt yourself in the process.
So what do we need to do that you compete again?
I don't know. I need to be pushed. I need to be pushed to compete again. I don't know really if I want to put on the muscle, because usually I grow into the shows. I do it old school. I do it look kind of weird. It's not like most bodybuilders do it where they do an off season. I think I might actually get smaller in the off season. And when I come into a show, so like I'm 225 right now. Usually I start preps on about 235. I'm a little leaner right now just because I want to be. So 235, I usually start the prep. And I probably have a good 15 pounds, you know, to lose. So at 220, but I almost always step on stage 225. So I almost always put on weight during the prep.
Yeah, because you use different kind of gear and you eat more consistency.
It's way more strict.
Yeah. But why are you not competing anymore? I want to see you on stage. I mean, you are looking aesthetic, you are looking classic, and Yeah, I mean, like you said, a little bit more legs and you would be really dangerous.
Yeah, I would like, it's always been a dream to compete professionally. I'm getting a little old now, but honestly, maybe not, because a lot of people competing are in their 40s now. For me, I think with everything that was going on with business, I just couldn't focus on it. Maybe if my business can kind of be running where I'm not there 80 hours a week, where I don't have to work every day, all day on it. When it gets to that point, I might be able to focus on it. I mean, I know my girlfriend would support me through it because she loves bodybuilding. She works out every single day, probably harder than I do right now. So yeah, maybe classic physique could be something that I could do, but it wouldn't probably be until the fall.
I don't think you're too old because you don't need a lot of mass for classic physique, I tell always people who are like, I have clients, they start with 40 and I say, look, I wouldn't aim for being a super heavyweight. You are 40. Like, you don't want to gain with 40 so much amount of muscle. Do it for fun. Do something that you can aim without to risk your life. And
Yeah.
I think you would risk your life to getting a pro card,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, you like you said, you have to look at your genetics and see reality with it. For me, I've always been built very thin, and the critique from every single person, and the last critique that I got was from Steve Weinberger when I was at the Caribbean Grand Prix. When I did that show, and he told me, he's like, upper body looks great. He's like, you could be a little leaner, but everybody could be a little leaner. And he said, you just need more legs. He's like, you need leg sweep. He's like, your calves are good. He said, but your leg sweep, he's like, they're just too narrow.
Yeah, that's why, like, your biceps, your shoulders, you look a little bit like Arnold. Like, your upper body is really ready. You need only legs, when I'm honest. Like,
well, maybe you're gonna have to come out to Orlando and show me how to do some good legs.
I love to train in Orlando. Orlando has good gyms, when I'm honest. I like Iron Religion. I like that new gym who opened up. Like, it looks insane.
Yeah, did you go to that gym yet?
No, all day, like, pictures, like the machines, like all my favorite machines.
Yeah, the guy's an ex-professional power lifter who owns it. Young kid too, but him and his wife run it, and it's called Rival Athletics.
It's really nice.
But it's probably the best equipped gym. And I mean, I've trained in Italy, I've trained in Germany, I've trained in all over the United States, all these different awesome big time gyms. This gym, it's small, it's quaint, but dumbbells go to 250 pounds.
What?
You're not going to find it anywhere.
Damn.
So dumbbells, 250 pounds, everything's brand new, and he hand picks every single machine.
Damn, I can go do some bicep curls now.
Yeah, with the 250s.
I think my favorite gym I ever was Quads Gym in Chicago.
That's a cool gym.
That's like insane. I think I never saw in my whole life so unique machines like in Quads.
Yeah, my friend, he's a police officer up there in Chicago. He trains there now, bodybuilding guy.
Kevin?
No, Croatian guy. Forgot his last name.
Yeah, that gym is insane. Like, I
Crazy.
live 5 minutes away, and they have like literally over 40 machines only for legs. Like, literally 7-8 different leg press. Like, it's so insane. You go and you don't even know what to do.
Yeah, it's so much, but the training there is amazing.
It's overwhelming. Like 7-8 leg curls, 7-8 leg extend. Like, you even don't know which one should I try.
Like, yeah, you have to try all of them gradually.
Yeah, like, I feel like in a candy store. Like, it's insane.
Yeah.
So tell me about your girlfriend. How do you guys met, and how long are you guys together?
This is kind of funny, actually. My girlfriend, who's in the other room over there in the living room, she was actually a patient at my clinic in Orlando.
Oh, that's how you handle your business, huh?
So that's how I handle my business. Yes, keep your wives and girlfriends away, apparently. Yeah, so we were talking before, and she came to the clinic, got some treatments and stuff like that, and we ended up meeting. The first time she went there, I told her I was going to meet her there to meet her in person, and I ended up being in Tampa at the time. So I missed her, and then a couple months later, we finally met at the clinic, said hi, and then we went out to dinner, had some drinks, and I never left. I was addicted.
How long is that ago now? How long are you?
4 months, going on 5 months. Yeah, but it's nice, man. It's a good mix for me. I mean, she's very professional, very successful, you know, good head on her shoulders, educated. So, you know, somebody that really fits kind of my dynamic.
And it's always like when you want to be a successful guy, you need to have a woman behind you, you know, who has your back. Like
Absolutely.
mentally, physically, you need like, I really don't believe that you can be 100% successful being single, being jumping from one girl to the other. I don't think that's going to happen because
I
you
don't think so.
need to have somebody who brings you down, motivates you, or when you're sad, or when you need somebody, or push you, and it's so important. Like it's insane.
Oh, I mean, you know, I'm so hard on myself, you know, all day, every day, when it comes to business or life or anything. And you know, when things start going wrong, I mean, you know, it sucks. It's you know, you start getting depressed, and you start getting down, and you start thinking worse things are going to happen. But you know, when you have a woman that can kind of bring you back to normal and put you back in place, like, hey, it's going to be okay. You got this. You're doing the right things. You know, when you have that kind of woman, it really makes a huge difference.
So who is the more dominant in the household? So do I need to ask? Do I need to convince her that you compete?
You know, she would support me. She told me she would support me if I wanted to compete again.
I think I need to talk to her.
Yeah, maybe we can get her on video one of these times.
Yeah, we need to. I need to convince her because when your girl wants, then you want it too. I know that from
Yeah.
my mom. So when
She preps every single meal that I eat. So you know, if my coach gave me a diet and I gave it to her, she probably wouldn't let me eat anything but my diet.
when I would pay her to cook more food for you, do you think I bring you in off season like that? Like that you hit the 250s?
That would be impressive. The heaviest I've ever been was, I think, 247. But man, I felt bad. I was very sluggish.
The thing is, like, I need to be honest, like, that you bring your legs up. I know that for myself, and we're gonna talk here. Like, we can't talk about Royce. I really don't care. Is I think tall guys really need to work with insulin on leg days. I think that's a really game changer. Like, I was always training so insane my legs. Back when I studied dietitian, and I worked with a guy who worked with the most of the athletes, like cyclists and everything. He had in his office that thing with the mask that you can measure the calories and stuff.
Yeah.
And measured literally on the day I trained legs, I was burning 2,500 more. Next day, I was burning close to 2,000 more. And he found out I have too long inflammation. Like I have like close to 24 hours fever after a leg day. And he
Wow.
said, you are overtraining your legs so much that your body can't handle it. And he was against steroids, of course, but I found out with insulin helps a lot with the nutrition, you know. Like obviously you need to eat clean. Like I'm not gonna
Yeah.
eat, but it helps you to recover better, to fill up the legs. And we are both tall. Like to have big legs, a tall guy, that's like
It's hard. It's hard. The only guy that I know, I think, that had the most impressive legs for a tall guy was probably Gunther Schleierkampf.
oh yeah, he's insane, man.
And he was He's 6'3". He's 6'2", 6'3", and the guy's legs were massive. But who was he training with? The man himself who founded the new insulin protocols of the last 30 years, Milos.
No, I think like I'm never using insulin regularly. I'm only like sometimes by legs because otherwise I'm not recovering. You know, my leg days are too crazy.
Yeah.
I think maybe that's a way you could work too. I don't want to convince you to do it. It's only what I found out works.
Yeah, it's definitely, I definitely have seen bodybuilders change drastically size-wise by using insulin. Of course, it's a dangerous practice. You know, if you do it wrong, you can get yourself in some trouble.
I know now what I need to do. Get your phone number from your girlfriend, give her your plan, add some more calories in it. I mean, you are at the best source for the rest. I don't need to, I mean, you know more than I know about supplements. But like, I really don't give up your dream, man. Like, you don't want to die and say, why I didn't do it. Oslo, when your business is calming down and it works from themselves, I will do it. Like, don't miss the opportunity. You know, you are not too old.
Yeah, I've thought about it. I've thought about it several times, and you know, it's funny because I really have a hard time dieting and training very well when I don't have a goal. So when I have a goal, when I have a date, you know, if I say July 1st, I'm stepping on stage, I am laser focused. My workouts are always perfect. My diet stays perfect. But if I don't have a date, I'm all over the place.
I'm the same. Like, it's without goal is always in life generally. Like,
Yeah.
when you know why you go to work, why are you going to work?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, see, my business goals are good. I have great business goals, and they keep me focused, and I'm very good with my business, growing it, and it's growing very rapidly. But, you know, when it comes to bodybuilding, I need to have a goal too. It's hard to do both at the same time when it's just, there's only so much time in the day.
So we can leave that option for the people who watch it. We can say, when you have 100 likes, you're gonna start a prep at least in the next year.
Okay, we can do that.
Is that a deal?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, so when we have over 100 likes in that video, you're gonna start at some point your prep in the next year.
Okay, so 100 likes on this video.
I mean, I'm completely serious, because we're gonna do that video when you are doing your prep.
That's a deal. I'm good with that. We'll do that as a deal.
And we need to also do a cookie challenge. I didn't forget. I mean, I see how are you handling your cheat meals? Like, I'm sure a lot of people outside are wondering now how I should eat in quarantine, or generally. Like, how do you stay that lean? I mean, I'm sure you're a human being and you have cravings too. How do you handle not to gain?
Cheat meals I do once a week. So I do a cheat meal every Saturday, and it's usually after leg day. So, you know, big calories after leg day, it ends up working out very well. The way that I stay lean is I do sometimes work out fasted in the morning. So I'll wake up right in the morning because my office opens at 10. When the gyms were open, we're usually up at 5 o'clock in the morning, training at 6 to 8, and then, you know, get ready for work. So training fasted helps, you know, doing fasted cardio, which you said you did for years, that'll definitely help you stay lean. And if you can maintain a very, you know, good, wholesome diet throughout the week, and just give yourself that one cheat meal, if you can maintain that discipline, you can stay lean. The one cheat meal doesn't make you fat. It's once you do it 4 times a week, that's when you start getting problems.
Get ever in a food disorder after competition, like that you were scared to eat or afraid to eat?
No, you know, it's funny because usually I diet too much. Usually I've never hit my peak on stage. I usually would look good 2 weeks before, and then I look good 2 weeks after. So I haven't nailed that. I haven't nailed that peak yet. But after shows, I usually just I'll do like one day of eating bad after the show, and then I'll just reverse diet and slowly introduce carbs. And I mean, I stay relatively lean for probably 2 months. I'll keep my abs for almost 2 months after the show.
I have abs maybe 2 weeks in the whole year. That's all. That's all I get. Like literally, that's because I have literally a lot of fat cells here. Everything I'm eating goes here. Literally everything. My legs lean all year long. It doesn't matter how big they are, but everything goes here. Everything. What's your favorite?
My favorite? Probably pizza. I don't eat it very often because
my wife agrees too. She said yes, pizza.
My girlfriend doesn't like pizza as much as I do, so I haven't cheated with it for a while. But I think I might do that this weekend.
I mean, the thing is, we both love food, so that's the problem,
Yeah.
She say no to pizza.
Yeah, I mean, well, we eat those cookies. She has a sweet tooth. I have a little bit of a sweet tooth. So she likes the sweet stuff. I like carbs. I want to eat a whole pizza.
I'm a carb person generally. I don't like fatty food, like fried stuff, and that's all not my kind of stuff. Like I crave more for pizza, sushi, or a lot of sweets.
Oh, I can't. Sushi it gets too expensive because I like.
You need to come all you can eat sushi with us. You can eat $50 like everything you want.
It has to be good sushi. It has to be good.
Believe me, like we have one here. They have 3 locations. We are going all the time with both Derek's, my wife. We go with all friends. With Celine, Celine too.
Yeah.
All appetizers are included. Hibachi is included, and all kinds of sushis. It's 20.
Okay.
Imagine.
So we'll make a deal. One of the weekends after all of this quarantine is done, my girlfriend and I will come out there. We will have sushi with you guys, and then you can tell her that I'm going to compete and see what she says.
But we need to train legs before sushi.
Yes, sir. We need to come in the morning, train legs, and then we eat sushi at night. And you convince my girlfriend that I'm stepping on stage, and then we'll be good.
And you bring the cookies.
Of course.
Like we try to order those cookies. Even to order them is like a pain in the ass. Like
I know my girlfriend hounds the Instagram page constantly, and she's always looking, and she got probably 4 orders in before.
Damn, she should. We trying the whole week, but I couldn't. Like I miss it always.
Yeah. You have to be paying attention all the time for it. It's crazy.
Last question. Who is your top 5 favorite bodybuilder?
Arnold Schwarzenegger, number 1. That's it. I have always loved his physique. I always wanted to look like him, which is possibly why my upper body kind of looks a little bit like his, because I trained like him my whole life. So he was always one of my, top influences. After him, Lee Haney, Dorian Yates, Ronnie Coleman. Trying to think who else. Gunther Schleierkampf was always a good one because he was so big, he was so tall. And Milos, he's in my top.
Yeah, my favorite is like, I know a lot of people say it because it's hyped, but since day 1, I'm watching Ronnie Coleman. Like literally, I was watching 2 hours before workout, after workout. Like it's insane. And the reason why I say that is because he loved it so much. Like sometimes we are coming home and I'm really sad. She asked me, why are you sad? I said, I think I could have done more. Like I'm really that kind of person. Like I regret when I lost 1 rep. Like fuck, I could have done that rep too. And I think he's the same. Like they ask him, what do you regret? I think I could do 5 reps. Like how psycho is that,
Yeah, yeah. The heaviest pre-contest squat probably ever.
Yeah,
And you know, he's like, oh, I should have done 5 instead of 2. I'm like, what?
people are doing fun right now. Like, oh, other people lift that too, but nobody lifts that 2 weeks out. It's not
No.
like when Larry Wheels lifted. Yeah, but he's also not in contest shape. You know, we are talking here about 2 weeks out, 300-pound bodybuilder. He's
Yeah.
he's like at his end, you know.
Well, he was setting powerlifting records. He was just a freak. There's nothing you can even. He was just a freak in strength and size.
Yeah, I think one of the bodybuilders that are not popular, but I love how he looks is Lee Priest. Like how
Oh yeah.
he was and stuff. Like it's so insane. Like
Yeah.
I watch videos and you feel like, how is that even possible? Like it's not like that's not a human being. Yeah. So thank you for taking time. I
Yeah.
hope so people learn something. Do you have something to say at the end, like the people, like for the situation or generally with supplements? You want to give advice to the people?
Yeah. So, you know, just everybody, you know, I want everybody to really understand that it's this whole bodybuilding thing can be done very safely, and it can be done, you know, very economically. You know, listen to the people who know a lot about the sport, know a lot about training. You know, don't go in there and, you know, guess, learn. So if you are going to take hormones, learn, or go to an expert that knows them. If you're going to go and work out with somebody like you. You know training. You've been training for years. You know, you understand training. You understand how to build muscle. So using the professionals, using the tools, the information out there is really important. Of course, if they need anything from me, they can always reach me at the office.
Yeah,
Office is in Orlando.
I put also your link under the video, of course. And like I would you guys also say, use the quarantine time, like when you guys are off or on TRT, do the blood work before everything starts again. Then
Yeah.
you know how your health is and how you can get the most of the season or whatever, like when the gyms are again opening.
Yeah. So yeah, let's make sure we check your health before all that stuff starts happening and you go back deep into prep. Make sure you're healthy and you can withstand what you're going to do to your body. Because, you know, if you come in and you're all messed up before you even start prep, you're not going to have a good prep.
Yeah, that's true. You guys heard it. 100 likes on the video and Tomo is gonna compete again. That's completely serious now. So
Yeah.
watch this video, send it to your friend, let it like even when he's not watching the video, because I'm bringing him to compete. Like 100 likes and he's gonna compete. Thank you guys for watching. When you guys like the content, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for taking time. Say hi to your girlfriend, and I'm gonna send the meal plan to her. Let's bring you to 250. Have a great evening, Tomo.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Bye.